Welcome everyone to this exciting interview segment. Today we have the pleasure of sitting down with Brad James, star of the movie, the Lifetime movie, Girl in the Garage, the Laura Cowan Story. And join us as we delve into Brad insights into his character and the challenges of filming these movies. Thank you for being here with us, Brad.
It is my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So, can you tell us a little bit about your character in Girl in the Garage?
Um, so this really powerful movie, Girl in the Garage, that Lifetime decided to do. I play Shabazz Muhammad, and this is a ripped from the headline story that has been championed by a young lady named Laura Cowan, who survived this ordeal. And in this movie, I play her husband, Shabazz Muhammad, someone who, when they started their life together, um, starting a new life and having kids and um, just building that life is something that you know is at a really important time in someone's life when you start to develop and decide the kind of person that you want to be and the kind of person you want to be the example for your kids. And so we start this life together, we start raising our kids, and then to not ruin it for you, something happens, which causes um, uh, Paige's character, Laura Cowan, played by Paige Hurd, who does just a really masterful job of playing vulnerable. You know, she's um, she's just thrown for a loop, and has to figure it out the best way she can without Shabazz's help. And that's where, she gets into a good bit of trouble. Um, and just, having to navigate a world that she shouldn't have had to deal with, that her kids shouldn't have had to deal with. But they found a way out. At least there's some redemption in the end. They find a way out. But, you know, as in with anything in life, there are some major challenges. And just the hope is that in coming through those challenges, you find light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah. And what initially attracted you to your role in this movie?
Um, Honestly, it was very personal. It was Laura Cowan, the real life woman the story's about. It was her drive to get her story told. So, and I'm pretty sure I don't have inside knowledge of it, but I'm pretty sure that that's what championed this for Lifetime to want to do it as well. Like, one of the amazing things that happened, even when we were beginning promotions for the film, I put out a trailer for it, and people were reaching out to me personally and publicly, just talking about how much this actually happens in society, where people are being held against their will, with their life or their children's lives or their family's safety being used as leverage in order to keep them contained. And in this particular example, there's even more than just the psychological. Like there were some physical limitations. Again, I won't give away the movie, for those that are watching it, but there are some physical things that make it really, really challenging to be able to find freedom and find your voice. So it was, for me, it was the real life Laura Cowan, the way she was really diligent about making sure that other people can see her story, her example, and then know that there are ways to get out of it. So that was the main thing that drew me to the story, was that she was behind it and she wanted to get her story told. So I knew they were going to bring in dynamic people to get it done, like Paige and like Stephen Bishop, people who are exceptionally talented, but have also been doing this long enough to know how to convey these messages. Those are some particulars.
Yeah, that's great. And what do you think makes this movie so special and captivating for you?
Mm. The the personal touch, you know, sometimes, we get the privilege of being able to take on these things that we call passion projects, like things that people want to get done. This movie was never designed to be a box office success or a worldwide phenomenon. It's just made to get the message out. And so the personal touch of Paige, coming on board and saying, this is important. This story needs to get told. Let's bring in the best people we can possibly bring in to do it. Um, that's something that's really impactful about it. Stephen Bishop, known for a phenomenal body of work, but also being such an intense performer. It takes it takes a piece of you to play roles like that. You know, uh, this last year on Netflix, I had a film come out with Regina King called Shirley, and I played Huey Newton, and he's someone else who's a real life person, who's had his own set of experiences, and you realize from taking on these characters for whatever period of time that you take them on that it becomes a part of your memory, something that you're always gonna hold on to. So it begins to be really important which characters you decide to understand. We say play, but it's really, this is a character. These are all characters that we've taken our time to understand their viewpoint. We may not walk around thinking like them or talking like them for the rest of our lives, but we'll at least, you have to understand them in order to play them well.
Yeah, it's true. And what was it like working with the rest of the cast and crew on set?
Um, I'll start with the crew first. The crew was really warm. We shot um, most of this movie in Kansas City, Missouri. Um, and Kansas City was very, very welcoming. The crew was fast. They were family. I've talked to the producers that run that set since then, and they, like, just about what we can do together again in the future. Um, so it was a really great experience. And then, the cast in general, I primarily spent my time with Paige and the kids. Um, and we had our own little family environment on set. The kids were great, and were glued to her, which made it that much more real, and that much easier. But also the professionalism. I'd um, I'd seen Paige. We joked about it. Probably less than a year before, we were both at the vice president's house. We were both at Kamala's house at the time,
Yeah,
and ran into each other. And she and my wife knew each other because they did a movie called Beauty Shop with Queen Latifah
yeah.
years years past when she was much younger. So it was kind of a little reunion of sorts, not knowing that a year later we'd be doing this wonderful, wonderful project together. So it was really cool.
Amazing. You are like her little family.
And that's what you want it to be. It's like when you're making movies. There was a small stint that I went on a few years back where I was just doing deals and showing up and doing people's projects, and it was like, I want to work with my friends. I want to work with, because this is what you're doing every day. So it's like, if you have the choice of, like, some jobs are going to pay you more than others, but like, I really just want to be around the people I want to be around to get it done. And so, who's there? Where are we filming? Are we filming in the middle of a freezing tundra or something? Or are we going to be somewhere, that's kind of cool? Like, all those things matter when it comes time to take on a movie. Am I going to get to do fun stuff when I'm there? All that stuff matters. So this was a really good one. I got to do some good shopping out in Kansas City.
Oh, great.
Yeah. And I also think that those moments are important because while you want to pay homage to those that have been through real life struggles and tough times, especially when you're doing a movie that's, based on a true life story, the thing to realize is that, you know, we're not reliving those exact experiences. We're just understanding them, you know? And so there should be moments for for the kids, for the crew, for our own sanity, for even the real life Laura who was on set, with us during a lot of the filming, to have some fun and to have some joy in the process. We're talking about something that's very serious and is very strongly tied to memories and can get reactions from people. So so that we can delve in and really have those serious moments, we got to be able to come out of them and have a meal, and have a conversation and have an understanding.
That's amazing. I really appreciate um, lifetime movies about real life situation, real life uh, problems, or I don't know how to say, but it's it's I think that you can understand and you can process and you can know more about other people's life that
Hmm.
are not fortunate like you are maybe or you
Hmm.
can process the story. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I'm grateful for Lifetime because they're bold enough to tell these stories. These can be hard to tell,
yeah,
you know. They can be hard to ask people to perform. They can be hard to write, They can be hard to ask the real life survivors to relive them, you know. And so I appreciate that Lifetime is bold enough and brave enough to be willing to tell these stories so that other people watching can know the signs to look out for. What can I do to make sure myself, my family, my friends, my loved ones don't end up in the same situation? At least know some signs, be able to protect yourself. And then, you know, Lifetime has a whole other side where it's like, let me show you how to blossom, and really open up and become the highest version of yourself, like whatever it is you want to be, whatever it is you dream and aspire to. Like it's got both of those things. So I applaud them for, you know, being known for showing the brighter side of life and bold enough to show the real things that have happened that people have made it through.
yeah, exactly. So, what can you tease about your character journey?
Um, what can I tease? Um, I can tease that no matter how bad it gets, um, there's always hope for better. So it looks bleak for a moment, but it becomes okay.
Great.
Yeah.
So, the last question about this movie. What was your favorite scene or moment behind the scene you choose while filming this movie?
Um, it's weird. It was actually a quiet conversation that Laura and Shabazz had, um, sitting in bed, getting ready for the night. And I think, for me, um, it gave us the most clear understanding of like how their relationship had grown. There were those cool moments when they're first meeting and hanging out and getting to know each other with the butterflies in their tummies. But this was like, now they've got kids, now they've got responsibilities, now they're just sitting in bed having a conversation. It was like kind of the most real moment of where they'd grown to, with each other.
That's amazing. So, change of subject,
Uh-huh.
something like more lightable, lighter. Um, you have to know, we are great fans of Christmas movies and holiday movies.
Uh-huh.
And this past holiday season, you were on Christmas in the Friendly Skis.
Oh, okay.
What can you share about your experience in this movie?
Um, so I've done a few Christmas movies. I love Christmas. I love what it means. I love the thing I really love about holiday movies in particular is that these are movies where everyone comes together to watch them. It's not like your favorite show that you might be binge watching on your phone or on your computer or in a room by yourself. This is like these kinds of movies are meant to be watched with the family. And so I love that multiple people are watching what we're making at the same time and getting to have conversation about how they feel about these moments. Um, I decided to do Christmas in the Friendly Skies for a few reasons. One because the director and writer is a good friend of mine, Victoria Rao,
Yeah,
and she's done amazing work over the years. And I've always wanted to work with her in the capacity of she's directing. And the other thing is, unlike some of the more popular ones like New Orleans Noel, or Marry Me for Christmas, like some of those franchises that we've done for holidays. This one is what we call a cabin movie. So almost the entire movie takes place in the friendly skies. It takes place on an airplane. And I always wanted to do an airplane movie. I think next is going to be like a bullet train kind of movie for me, like or a spaceship or something. Like I love those. I love the challenge of making a complete story out of one location. So I loved it. I got to watch it this past holiday season when it came out with a screening group, in the city of Atlanta, and the audience, just could not stop laughing. And it's nice to see when the audience that a movie is made for gets the jokes and understands and really feels it. So we had a great time on that.
great.
Thank
So,
you for asking.
we are great fans. I have to ask you this one. So, change of subject. Um, this is a question I ask to all the artists I have the pleasure to talk with about your career in general. What have been some of the most memorable projects you have worked on throughout your career, and why for you?
Hmm. Some of the most memorable ones would have to be, um, For Better or Worse, which is a sitcom I did some years ago. And, we spent 7 seasons in this world, and I made family members out of that cast and crew as well. And it was one of my first, really big recurring jobs. Um, and I just loved going to work every day and being in that environment and learning from people who'd been doing this a lot longer than I had. Um, that one was a really fun one. Um, I've got one right now we just released for Peacock Network. Unfortunately, I don't think you get that in Italy. I think it's a US network. It's an affiliate from NBC, but we released a movie I did the story for and got to star in called Nothing Even Matters. And it's a love adventure action movie. So those always tickle my fancy. And Superstition I've always loved just because it's sci-fi. I got to work with one of my great inspirations in this industry, Mario Van Peebles, who played my father in the show, and he directed it. So I would recommend Superstition for sure. But yeah, yeah.
Great, amazing.
Oh, Outer Banks. Outer Banks is another one
Yeah,
uh, for Netflix. That was one. It was just really good to see the movement that came out of that show because the young people who were the Pogues who were together on that show going through their adventures, they just resonated with the world.
Yeah,
And there was nothing false about it. You know, every day when we showed up to work, they were exactly what you saw on the TV, except maybe, maybe the some of the villains on the show were much nicer in person. But other than that, it was really beautiful to see that authenticity that came out when people watched the show.
yeah. Outer Banks is really popular here in Italy too, so
Oh, okay.
yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. So the last question, as usually,
You said that 4 times.
this is the last.
This is the last. It doesn't have
Over
to
to
be.
you.
I'm okay. I'm okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll take it.
Can you tease us something about your next projects?
Ooh, what's next up? I don't actually know which is coming out next. But the next thing I'm working on right now that we're in pre-production is post-apocalyptic. It,
Oh,
it's set 10 years from now,
oh,
and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. And I hope to be able to talk to you again about that one.
yeah, I hope too. You can say if is already announced.
Nope, it's not announced yet.
Oh, okay. We will talk the next time about that.
Yes.
Okay. So this is it. Make sure, all of you, to quote Girl in the Garage, the Laura Cowan Story on Lifetime platform. And thank you, Brad, to join us today.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
It's a pleasure for me. And thank you all for watching. Bye!